What's up, man? Thanks very much.
Yes, I did.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to LevelUp 2021. Woo! I'm so excited to have everybody here today, connected both in person and remote around the world. We have close to 50,000 people connected remotely today, and so in many ways, this represents what has happened in 2021, right? It was pointing out that this is a hybrid event, and around the world, globally, everybody's connected, just like we use our software for, and we continue doing that here today as a hybrid event at LevelUp. And so if we're able to connect people here, then through our software is our mission, and this is exactly what we're doing with ClickUp. And so this represents what 2021 is, this new shift to hybrid remote work. If you can see behind me, we also have a new office downtown San Diego, sunny San Diego. Roughly 80% of our company is remote today. And so we are representing this new shift to hybrid work, and we believe that's where the future of work is headed. We're super excited and humbled to be able to enable people to increase the adoption of the shift to this hybrid remote experience. And that's been our mission since day one. And so let's talk a little bit about day one and how we got here. Day one starts with my journey. Right? It all started, as many of you know, with a series of near-death experiences. 4 near-death experiences to be exact. And each of them, I firmly believe, led me on this path to building ClickUp. My first near-death experiences started when I was 10. And when I was 10, I was in a really bad accident, and I was in the hospital for almost 2 months. Okay? And when I was 10, that was 20 years ago. So keep in mind, 20 years ago, nobody had access to technology in the same way. Right? You didn't have cell phones, you didn't have laptops, you certainly didn't have the internet in the same capacity that you do today. And when I was in the hospital, though, there was a laptop. And that was my first time I had a chance to really create this connection with technology. And by the way, even before that, I was an entrepreneur since I was born. Right? I was that kid that was 4 or 5 years old that was selling things. I got suspended twice in elementary school for selling candy. So, so even prior to this, I had this love of entrepreneurship. But what the new laptop did was it married that love of entrepreneurship with technology. And the first thing that I did with that marriage of technology and entrepreneurship was I tried to cure cancer at 10. I'm just kidding. I actually sold bootleg Disney DVDs. And so I wasn't that ambitious. But you wouldn't have guessed that later, you can't connect the dots, but later I actually worked at Disney World driving the monorail several years later. And like I said, this was an amazing first experience. But the point of the story is that during this near-death experience, I fell in love with technology for the first time. Right? And it's also why I choose to believe that everything happens for a reason. If it wasn't for that near-death experiences, I would not have really loved technology in the same way. So Steve Jobs always said, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. And I firmly believe that. And so the other thing that this near-death experience did was it made me want a laptop of my own. And so this is an actual excerpt from some journaling that I did around that age, where I wrote down my dream of getting a laptop. And I know this is very young to be journaling, but everybody that knows me knows that I journal religiously. I journal at least twice a day, every single day, no matter what. And if you don't journal, I think it's the single most impactful thing that you can do with your personal life. If you haven't done it yet, I encourage you to just try writing down what you did today at the end of the day, and then doing that tomorrow and repeating it. And it compounds and it creates something magical. And so here I wrote that I really wanted this laptop. And I'll connect the dots later. The point I'm getting to, though, is that you can create your own reality. And I'll prove that shortly. Flash forward many years later to my second near-death experience. I was in college, and I experienced a home invasion where I was robbed at gunpoint by several people. And a 17-year-old kid put a gun to my head for about 10 minutes, which felt like an eternity. But this was the first time that I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. So many people talk about near-death experiences and that you have this out-of-body experience. And frankly, I didn't really have that same experience. But what I did have was I analyzed my life and really looked at the future of it and looked at the past and looked at the path that I was on. And I realized ultimately that I was wasting time. I had lost my creativity and I lost my early passion for technology when I was in college. And most importantly, what I realized through that was that I needed to drop out of school. And so I promised to the universe, I promised to God, to whatever exists out there as a higher power, that if I made it out alive, I would change my life. And I did. And so that next day, I dropped out of school, and I went on a mission to really learn how to code. Right? I'd always known basic HTML, but I never really knew how to program. The problem was I still didn't have my own laptop. I'd actually had one in school, but it was a shitty Fujitsu laptop, if anybody even knows that Fujitsu makes laptops, and I had to give it back to the school. And the other problem was I was dead broke. And so I mentioned I would get back to journaling and how the dots connected, and so here it is. This is me journaling about my hesitation to buy a MacBook, right around this time. I wrote that I'm hesitant to buy this, but if I do this, I could create my next brand with it. And so I did end up buying that laptop with a credit card, and it was a big bet for me. And the next day, on the right side, I wrote, I will learn to code, and I will create a billion-dollar idea with this laptop. And so over the next few weeks, I taught myself how to code. I learned PHP at the time. That was the hot language that everybody was learning. And I really became even more deeply obsessed with technology and creating things. It opened up a whole new world of possibilities. And so I built some social scripts, essentially that increased engagement and followers on social media. And I also built a program where you could schedule your tweets ahead of time. And all of those things did not exist yet, right? And so, because this was 10 years ago. And so I started selling those services online. And that business grew pretty quickly. And that's where I started my dance with productivity software. Right? I started with just one task management app for myself when it was just myself. And then as we started hiring employees, we still had that task management app, but we also had several project management apps. We had reminders, we had to-do lists, we had docs, we had knowledge bases, we had goals, and of course we had team communication, and the list goes on and on and on. And so, frankly, it was a clusterfuck of productivity applications. Right? It was all of these, they're productivity applications. They're supposed to make you more productive. It's in the name of them. But we couldn't help but think that we were wasting time and becoming less productive by using these. So flash forward a few years later again, and this is when I had my third near-death experience. This time, I had an entire week that I thought I had a death sentence. And I used that week to really, again, analyze my life. I mean, there's nothing easier to analyze your life than death facing you, right? It's easier said than done, but when you have it, when you're in that moment, it becomes very easy to realize what you need to change about your life. And so this time I realized that social media business I had created was not adding net positive value to the world. In fact, we were just increasing people's egos on social media. And so it was a tough pill for me to swallow. And it felt like I wasted all of that time over the years. And every near-death experience, even before this one, makes you realize how valuable time is. It's the most important thing that we have in the world. But this one in particular gave me this newfound obsession, frankly, and appreciation of time. And it gave me that same obsession with productivity, because ultimately productivity is equivalent to time. And so I went back to work that next week, fully intending to shut the company down, which I did. But it hit me as I was still using those 12 productivity tools. Each of one is on one of these monitors. I knew there had to be a better way, right? Because we had wasted so much time switching between tools, using so many different platforms. People were disconnected. Nobody was on the same page. And so I knew we ultimately needed to build our own app. And that's exactly what we did 4 years ago. And we quickly realized that this would become our life mission. We were super obsessed with saving people time, with just putting all of your work in one place. It just didn't exist at the time. Before that, software was very opinionated. And so we wanted to bring this flexible approach that worked for anyone and everything. We wanted to make the world more productive. And so, again, everything happens for a reason. Right? We wouldn't have this today. We wouldn't have ClickUp if it wasn't for those near-death experiences. But it's hard to see that. And so since that time 4 years ago, the world has indeed changed a ton. But the problem that we're solving is still the same. And in many ways, that problem for people has gotten worse. Right? With a specialized app for just about everything nowadays. People are wasting time between so many different applications. Right? And on top of that, with the pandemic, we're also seeing people sprawl. Teams are working from anywhere and everywhere, which is awesome. Right? It's amazing. But the result is that work is more disconnected than ever before. And this means that collaboration is hard. Alignment is hard. There's no visibility into what people are doing. And so productivity as a whole is slowing down by pretty much all metrics. And our aim at ClickUp has always been to solve these problems. Our vision from day one has been one single place for all of your work. One platform that works for everyone and everything. A platform that saves you time and makes you more productive. This is what we believe is the future of work, and this is what ClickUp is today. It's the world's only all-in-one productivity platform. We had a really big vision for our platform since the beginning. Right? It's a daunting, ridiculous vision. 15 products inside of one. And the foundation for those products, though, it's almost complete. Right? The foundation is almost complete. There's really just two missing pieces from our foundation. And we'll talk more about that shortly. After those two pieces are done, then our platform is there. The foundation is there, and it's just about making what we have, every single thing that we have, best in class. Right? No more new to the foundation. It's there. And so we still have more work to do to centralize all of your work and to accomplish our full vision. But we're making a huge, huge, huge difference for our customers. And here's some of those. These stories we get every single day from all around the world, from small businesses, large businesses, from universities, from students, you name it. Right? We get these stories every day, and this is what inspires us to keep going. It's how we know we're on the right path. We also receive so many stories about people saving time. And those really are my favorite stories, right? The ones that people are saving time with. In fact, one of my favorites is from this customer. His name is Brandon. And he sent us this really long letter. But the gist of it was that we started saving his team so much time when they switched to ClickUp that he gave his entire company Fridays off. Don't ask, we're not going to do that at ClickUp. But what he was able to do with this picture was spend a Friday off with his daughter getting a donut for the first time. And so this was a really magical story. And these are the types of stories, again, that keep us going. This is why we do it. In total, based on user surveys, we saved 208 million days in added productivity and efficiency last year. Holy shit, 208 million days. Right? We have no opinion how people use that extra time. Many people, including myself, use it for getting more work done. But there's lots of people that use it for spending time with their family, like we just saw, building relationships. We don't care about what you use it for, right? The point is that we're opinionated about you being able to save that time and connect all of your work. Many people didn't know that ClickUp didn't almost make it. Yes, ClickUp itself had many near-death experiences, not just myself, many near-death experiences. Early on, there was no investor in the world that would fund our vision. Again, it was a ridiculous vision at the time, 15 products in one, everything for everyone. We didn't want to pick a vertical. We didn't want to pick a niche. We didn't want to pick a category. So nobody would fund this, and rightfully so, frankly, rightfully so. And so there was one point where we had 1 month left of money in the bank, right? We had 1 month left in order to continue operating ClickUp. And anybody that doesn't know, I was the only product person at the time. I love product. And I was very deep inside of the product at this time. And so I pulled my head out and started focusing on the business. And we created some paywalls. I know, I hate paywalls too. Created some paywalls, but we added an opportunity for a promotion. We offered every user 30% off, right? And so we sent this email to all of our users, and the next day, I literally was crying with joy because that single promotion led us to become cash flow positive. I mean, our expenses were very low at the time. We were much smaller, but we were cash flow positive because of that single promotion. And so we knew we had enough money to continue building ClickUp. We knew that we were on the right path, and we knew that customers would pay for our software. And so it's important to remember this story when considering our most recent fundraise. With this new funding, we can finally deliver on that original promise that we had since day one. All right, and maybe it's all of those ridiculous near-death experiences that I had that drive that unreal urgency inside of me, but I still believe that we aren't moving fast enough. And so this new round of funding will enable us to move faster. It will enable us to build the platform of scale and reliability that our customers deserve and demand. And it will enable us to continue scaling our teams. Over the past year, we've grown from around 100 employees to over 800 employees today. We've added hundreds of new engineers. And so again, we aren't perfect yet, right? But with this new round of funding, we'll get there. And so now it's time for the fun stuff. This is my favorite stuff, features. And the first is Docs 3.0. Docs 3.0 lets you unleash creativity with hundreds of new beautiful typography and styling options to choose from. With our new tags feature, you can group similar docs together, and they'll stay organized like never before. Plus, my favorite is you can add docs to your sidebar, so you can group docs inside of folders and spaces however you like. But those are just a few examples of more than 50 new enhancements and features that we've added to Docs 3.0. And so there's so much more to explore. Docs 3.0 is live today. I encourage you to explore it yourself and give us your feedback. We've heard from customers that this has been game-changing to their productivity. The next feature I'm super excited to announce today that's coming soon is whiteboards. Virtual whiteboarding is key to our vision of a connected workspace in a single platform. It's free-form thinking at its finest, and I'm super excited to give you a glimpse of what it looks like. So whiteboards are coming in the next few months, and I can't wait for everybody to start using them. They're awesome. I'm also thrilled to announce our third feature that I'm announcing today, which is called Universal Search. It's one of our most innovative features ever. Not only will Universal Search make our own search incredibly easy to find what you're looking for, and so much better than it is today, but it will also connect you in a way to all of your other applications outside of ClickUp. So for the first time, you can search within ClickUp, and you can search everything outside of ClickUp. You'll be able to search over 50 different applications outside of ClickUp. Some of them are up here: Salesforce, Slack, Gmail, HubSpot. So you'll be able to search all of your work outside of ClickUp, relate it to things inside of ClickUp, and work like never before. This feature will undoubtedly save you more time than we have in the past. And so there's two more things I want to announce outside of features. And the first is our ClickUp Verified program. ClickUp Verified is a new program that verifies our power users inside of ClickUp. So starting today, the top 10,000 users in ClickUp will receive a ClickUp Verified checkmark. And they'll also receive free swag and several other really cool deals. One of the things that I want to do is really talk about how ClickUp was built by users. Right? I genuinely want to thank everybody for building ClickUp. ClickUp would not be here, it would not exist in the same way if it wasn't for users. And so we still listen, and from day one, I listened to every single piece of feedback inside of our platform. Right? Every single piece of feedback I read, whether it be from social media, from our Facebook groups, from talking to me live, from salespeople, support, success, email, I read every single feedback. And we still, today, listen to every single piece of feedback at ClickUp. Right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. And we encourage you to continue giving us the feedback, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because we're still listening, and we always will. We aren't perfect yet, but I promise that we're growing in every way we can to get there. Right? And growth is our most important core value at ClickUp. I fundamentally believe that growth produces happiness. By the way, these are our core values, and the growth one being highlighted. Growth produces happiness. And so I'm not just talking about growth in your business life or your work, but also in your personal life, also in your health, your relationships, everything. Growth is equivalent to happiness. And so we have to remember to make choices along the way that allow us to grow. But as we're growing, we also have to remember to enjoy the process. Ultimately, if you believe everything happens for a reason, then you naturally enjoy the process. Right? You have to enjoy it. Everything bad becomes good. Right? Another way I like to say it is life is perfect even when it's not. As long as you're alive, as long as you're living, there's no real problems. Okay? And so all experiences are good. Again, all experiences are good. And we hope you enjoy the rest of your experiences today. Thank you so much, everybody. Have an amazing day.